Talk. What up, YouTube? Back at you once again. Just here to drop another nugget on you. I typically come on Sundays early, but to be honest with you, I was tired. I did too much, if you would. Like yesterday, I woke up. I did like about a 5 mile walk. I haven't, I like to run, but I haven't been running because my knee been bothering me a lot lately. But I took a 5 mile run, and then I thought I had my Superman cape on, thought I could do a 5 mile walk because I can't run now because my knee. But did a 5 mile walk. After that, came to the house, started cleaning up. Then got in the sun and mowed the lawn. My lawn is not super big, but it's big enough. And so like it drained me, and I guess I tried to do too much. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I'm on here once again, just coming at you just to drop a little nugget, you know what I'm saying? So that somebody catch this in their airwaves. You know what I'm saying? Somebody catch this in their portal, so you know that it activates something. And that's the thing, we sometimes we gotta have an open mind and an open heart, you know what I'm saying, to hear, because when we go through things, when we've been impacted by trauma, it like we shut down sometimes. And when you shut down, you're in a posture where you can't receive anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have an open mind and an open heart. You have to manage yourself. You have to manage your struggle and your emotions, to keep yourself in a positive space. Because when you're in a positive space, you can see opportunities, you can see doors opening, you can see positive things. But when you're in a bad place, you tend to look at the negative part. You tend to look at the negative things. And I call it like the psychology of momentum. It's like when things are going bad, everything it hits different. But you gotta have the mental toughness and the emotional intelligence to navigate these things. Because listen, that's a part of your journey in life. Like negativity gonna come. Like, you might start going live, you might start your page, people might not like you, you might start doing things, people may not feel it, you may not get the feedback that you're looking for to keep you going. But you got to have the emotional intelligence to know and to understand. And most of all, like, some things are just spiritually discerned. So you have to be in the right mental space. You have to be in the right dimension in order to receive, because sometimes things are not going to go your way. Sometimes God may send you into some place, He may send you into a space, and things may not go the way that you want them to go. But guess what? Just because it didn't go the way that I wanted to go, does that mean that I shut down? Just because I had a history of things that happened to me before, or because I went through a bad marriage, I went through an abusive relationship, I went through an abusive situation, does that mean I shut down like that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that's why I came on here. I want to drop this nugget on somebody to encourage somebody, to speak life into you, to let you know, like, no matter what the condition is, there's always a way to fix it. There's always a dimension where things can get better, where things can shift. But guess what? The ball now becomes in your court. Like, you have to be the owner. You have to take ownership of certain things, because a lot of times we complain about things that we created. A lot of times we're upset about situations that God has empowered us to do something, but yet we want to keep kind of doing the same thing. And it's not that we want to do the same thing. It's just that we've been through so much trauma, and we've experienced so many things. We've experienced abusive situations and relationships and abusive people, that we kind of walk in with the expectation of something different happening. And listen, the only thing different that's going to happen is you have to make up in your mind that you're going to change some things, that you're going to change your approach, that you're going to examine yourself. And that's just some real talk. But again, it speaks to the realm of, like, some things are spiritually discerned. Like, guess what? God wants me to go higher. He wants to give me more. He wants to do more. But guess what? He ain't gonna give me more. He ain't gonna do more if I keep doing the same thing. Why? Because I haven't learned from my behavior. You know what I'm saying? I haven't examined myself. I haven't, you know what I'm saying, taken the necessary actions that I need to cause my situation to change. And a lot of times things don't change because we don't come into alignment with what we're supposed to come into alignment with. And I can tell you that even before I got married a second time, you know, it's just like I was just such in a place of really deep hurt. And I had to realize something. I had to do a self check. And that's one thing you got to do. A lot of times you got to check yourself. A lot of people are very prideful and they want to project. They want to look at other people. They want to blame everything on everybody else. They want to be a victim. But guess what? A lot of times when you have relationships and transactions with people, you got to look at yourself. You got to have the depth, you know what I'm saying, about yourself. You got to have that. You got to be that self-actualized to be able to take a deeper look at who? To take a deeper look at yourself. That's just some real stuff. Some people can't see themselves. You know what I'm saying? Some people can't see their actions. They just kind of go along on their path and they do what they do. And then people wonder, like, why I keep repeating this cycle? Like, why I never grow? Like, why things never get better? Like, why my situation never change? Like, why am I always in the same situation over and over? It's almost like it's a cycle, like something is on repeat. You're in that situation because like you haven't built yourself up. You haven't you haven't gained any insight or understanding about your journey. Listen, a lot of people don't understand their journey. You got to understand is that you are on a journey. This thing is a journey. It's taking you somewhere. But if you had to have a mindset that, hey, I want to get to this, I want to get to that. Listen, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some effort. It's going to take some faith. It's going to take some push. It's going to take some drive. It may require me doing things that I'm not necessarily comfortable doing. It might take that. That's just some real talk. And that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. You know, some things are just spiritually discerned. Like sometimes you don't know why you're in situations. Sometimes you don't know, but you're in those situations. And sometimes you feel like you got bad luck. Sometimes you feel like you're punished. Sometimes you feel like you curse, but no, that's not the case. And that's why we got to be in a place of where we're adding to our emotional intelligence. Like we're beginning to examine things from a certain perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because that's important. Like emotional intelligence, like to me, where from what how I see things, emotional intelligence is you being able to navigate the spiritual world. It's you being able to navigate this life, understanding the highs and the lows and the ups and the downs, and knowing what your assignment is, knowing what your vision is, and not being impacted by extracurricular and outer things that will pull at your personality, that will pull at, you know what I'm saying, at your emotions, that will pull at your feelings, that will cause you to feel less than, that will cause you to be timid, that will cause you to be shut down, that will cause you to shy away from things. And that's just some real talk, man. And as I was reading First Corinthians 2 and 4, that it says like the carnal man cannot receive the things of the spirit. You know what I'm saying? And to me that means a lot, because it tells me, like, you know what I'm saying, like there's a fine division between my natural human self and the spiritual format of what God has called and designed me to be and enter into. And that's what it's trying to tell you in our first Corinthians 2 and 4. It's telling you like the carnal man cannot receive the things of the spirit. In other words, like your carnal man, who you are carnally, is not who you are spiritually. Like that's not your dimension. Like, listen, I may struggle carnally with certain things, but spiritually I'm free. Spiritually, I'm strong. Spiritually, I'm bulletproof. But guess what? If I stay in a carnal mindset, if I stay in a low mindset, that's where I'm gonna be. Because guess what? As a man thinketh, so is he. So what? Like now I gotta boost my emotional intelligence. I gotta train myself. I gotta self-help myself to understand that, hey, listen, like, even though I may struggle in certain areas, like, this is not my destiny. Like, there's more for me in this lifetime. There's more for me on my journey. And guess what? When I trust the process, there is enough faith, there's enough grace, if you would, to get me to where I need to go. But guess what? I gotta walk out that vision. I gotta walk in vision. I gotta walk in a dimension of vision. I can't trust my flesh man. I can't trust my carnal man. Because my carnal man gonna pull me back into alcohol. My carnal man gonna pull me back into all the old stuff that I used to do. But guess what? I made a commitment that I'm not flowing in that realm anymore. I'm not flowing in that dimension. But I want more for my life. I want more for my family. I want more for my journey. So guess what? I got to come to a place of understanding, and I got to apply these principles and understand that, listen, like, my journey is spiritually discerned. Like, even where I am right now, is not currently about where I am, but it's more so about the vision of what God promised me. It's more so about the future. And I think that's where a lot of us fall short. Like, listen, like, what's your vision? Like, what vision has the Creator given you as to your future? Why? Because His Word tell us, like, you gonna go from glory to glory. It say from glory to glory. So you're not gonna be stuck in that place. But at the same time, you have to take accountability and understand that in order to shift from this dimension of glory to the next dimension of glory, like, it's some work that we have to do to get into that dimension. And again, I just thought it was profound as I was also reading in the book of James 5:17. Now, 5:17 alludes to Elijah. It says that Elijah was a man of like compassions, just like me and you. So in other words, Elijah, like, he had his emotional stuff. He was a compassionate man. And listen, there's nothing wrong with passion. There is nothing wrong with compassion. But you have to understand that there's a balancing line, that I can't allow my passion or my compassion to pull me into an emotional place where my emotions are governing where I move, or how I move, and what I do, and how I think. I got to be spiritually minded, right? But it says that about Elijah. And if you read the accounts of what the scripture says about Elijah, like, you can see that Elijah was a very emotional man. And I recall the story about Elijah when he had a victory on Mount Carmel. So after he had the victory on Mount Carmel, and he slayed all the prophets of Baal that were under the authority of Jezebel, that witch. Like, after he slayed them, like, she found out, and she put a hit on Elijah. She put a hit on him. And I said to myself, I'm like, wow, Elijah, you just defeated a whole army of demonic prophets. Like, you just experienced God's glory. You just saw his miracle. And Jezebel threw out a threat. She say, Elijah, I'm going to unalive you. Elijah, I'm after you. I'm gonna get you. You made my people look bad. You made my kingdom look bad. And so what Elijah did, like, after Elijah experienced all that glory, after Elijah experienced all those miraculous things, he went on the run, and he became suicidal. He became suicidal. And I said that to myself, I'm like, wow, like, here it is, Elijah, like, you just saw miracles from heaven, like, manifesting your face. Like, why would you go into a place of fear? Why would you shut down? Why would you become suicidal? Why would you become so defeated? Why? Because those emotions are a powerful thing. Like, listen, we're all human. We are all fearfully and wonderfully made. But let me tell you something. Sometimes emotions can put us in a compromising place. Sometimes emotions can put you on the run. Sometimes emotions can build false behavior and false signals within our movement. Sometimes emotions can trigger things. Sometimes emotions can trigger responses that put us in a certain mind frame. That's some real stuff. Hello, Anon. Emotions can be a very powerful thing. And listen, I never forget years ago, I worked in a prison system. And I used to see even some guys that were my peers that they were behind bars. Like, when I said that to myself one day, when something happened to me and I thought about doing something off the wall, and I said, wow, the difference between me and them was that when I was in my crisis, when I was going through my stuff, I was able to step back and grab a hold of my emotions because my emotions were putting me in a bad place. My emotions were putting me in a place of aggression. My emotions were putting me in a place of anger. My emotions were putting me in a place of resentment. And let me tell you something, it's perfectly human to have those things. But the problem is when you start dwelling in those places, when you start playing with that stuff, when you start harboring that stuff, you open yourself to a realm of evil and dark forces. Man, I'm telling you, yeah, that's exactly what it was. The Holy Spirit stopped me. And that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes we allow what we are processing. And listen, sometimes we don't know how to process things. Like, that's why you need the power of the Holy Spirit, because number one, he's a comforter. He's a leader. He's a guider. Let me tell you something. In that moment, I wasn't worrying about the Holy Spirit. I wasn't thinking about the Holy Spirit. I was thinking about how somebody had done crossed me up. And listen, I don't know about any of y'all, but listen, I was in a situation where somebody crossed me real bad. I'm talking about, have anybody ever been in a place or dealt with a situation where you felt so betrayed? Like, and that's when I said to myself, I was like, those same guys that I was looking at, listen, those same guys when I was working in that prison system and I was looking at those guys saying like, man, why did you do that? How you go kill somebody? How you go rob a bank? How you go rob a store? How you go hold people at gunpoint? Baby, let me tell you something. That's when I realized that it's a very thin line. It's a very thin line. That's why I learned not to judge, because emotions is a powerful thing. Emotions is a powerful thing. It can push you to do some stuff. And that's what I want to encourage somebody today to understand, that listen, it's okay to have your emotions. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. It's gonna happen. You're gonna feel resentment sometime. You're gonna feel like, what in the world am I doing in this marriage? What in the world am I doing at this job? Like, it's okay to feel that way. Those are your emotions, and you got to learn how to manage them. So, yeah, I feel like this marriage, this situation, this job is hopeless and worthless. But on the flip side, I got to become spiritually minded and understand that, listen, I'm here for a reason. Either I had some mechanics in landing me here, or perhaps God sent me here. You know what I'm saying? So either way, I gotta look at my journey and my situation and change my mindset and know that, guess what? As long as I'm here, as long as I got life inside of my body, there are things that I can do strategically to try to change my situation. Oh, Kissimmee, Florida. I'm from Miami, Florida. Welcome, Floridians. I'm a Floridian from South Florida. I love Florida. I grew up in Florida, but I can tell you, I like South Carolina. It's different. Sometimes you just like different stuff, but at the end of the day, I love Florida. I especially love South Florida. That's where I grew up. That's where I was cultured. 047305, salute. And I can tell you, Rashonda, like, that's when I was in a dark place back in 2020. I was in a really dark place from 2016 to 2020. Like, that's where I went. I went to Central Florida, and I people probably that know me have heard this. Like, I was in a really bad place. I was in a dark place from 2016 to 2020. So in 2020, I moved to Central Florida. Let me tell you something. When I moved to Central Florida, In Maitland, Florida, that's around Orlando. Of course, you know that, Rashonda. That's around Kissimmee and those parts. When I moved there, the first day I went, I found a job. You know what I'm saying? And you know, doors opened up. So how do we deal with emotions? It's so hard. Well, you have to spend time, you know what I'm saying, in prayer. You have to spend time in meditation. Like you got to read your word. You know what I'm saying? You got to really dig into your word. Not only just dig into your word, but like you got to have those self-talks. You got to talk about things. You got to communicate with those people that are around you and listen. Like you got to stop reacting. See that's the best way. My daughter's going to St. Thomas. Oh, that's a blessing. But yeah, but that's the best way to deal with your emotions. Like stop reacting. Understand what you're dealing with and talk it out. Walk it out. When you start getting frustrated, when you start getting upset, when you start reacting, you're putting God out the picture. When you start reacting to things, and I've learned some things. Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing here in life. It feels so stagnant and looks like nothing is happening. It looks like nothing is happening again because you are on a journey, and right, it's a spiritually discerned journey. So you got to understand, like certain tests you got to pass, certain stuff you got to get over. So a lot of times we become angry and frustrated, and we step into resentment because we don't understand what our assignment is, or we get distracted away from our assignment. First of all, understand what your assignment is. Like, ask yourself, like, why am I in this family? Why am I in this marriage? When you start asking yourself those simple questions, you can then begin to activate yourself and understand, okay, I'm in this marriage because it's a kingdom thing. I'm in this marriage because God made me a part of a family, and there is a role I have to play. And guess what? Guess what's preventing you from playing your role? Those little demons in the family. But see, your emotions have triggered you to shut down, right? So now to move differently and to move in accordance with God's promises and his word, you got to change how you move. You got to change how you think. You got to stop responding to the negativity. And you got to know when you do stand up and start taking a stance and doing the right thing, oh, baby, the attack's going to come. Why? Because the enemy wants you to shut back down. The enemy wants you to keep doing things the old way. He wants to keep reminding you that, hey, whenever I engage with this family member, whenever I do this at the job, this is what they do. But guess what? What you're doing is not because of them, but what you're doing is because you're on a journey and assignment, and God sent you somewhere to change some things. You got to change your posture. Oh, they're always like, oh, what's your job? Or when are you getting a boyfriend? It's never positive. And listen, let me tell you something, Anon. Like when you getting a boyfriend, like when you align yourself with God's plan, when you align yourself with God's purpose, you know what I'm saying? Like that person is going to manifest themselves. Trust and believe me. Like I spent 12 years in a bad situation. And listen, I'll take accountability. I made some of it bad too. I was a party to it. And so after I spent those 12 years, like for the next 4 years, like I was waiting. I was hungry to be with my life partner. You know what I'm saying? I was hungry to meet that person. But I had to realize on that leg of the journey, like there were some things that I had to work on. So you got to ask yourself, like, are you working on what you need to work on in order to realize and in order for God's vision to come into fruition? Are you working on that? Are you putting forth the effort? Are you working on you? I think sometimes we just want certain things. But let me tell you something. When you start doing the work, Anon, it is going to manifest. And let me tell you something. I started doing the work. Like I started reading more. I started spending time by myself. I stopped sleeping around. You know, I stopped being negative. I cut off certain people. And let me tell you something. And it was November 2020. Like my wife manifested. I'm telling you, the way she manifested, it was so profound. And let me tell you, as a matter of fact, I met my wife on a dating app. And at that point, I was like, I was on my celibate journey. And let me tell you something. When you start doing the hard stuff, you going to see results. Like, I'm going to tell you two things. Number one, I lost 80 pounds. Why? Because I started working out and doing the hard stuff and making sacrifices. Like, I got married in November of 2020 because I started doing the hard stuff. I say, you know what? As much as I feel like I need to lay with a woman, I'm not gonna do it. And it was hard. And let me tell you something. In a couple instances, I said to myself, I was like, oh my goodness, like, and I'm just being transparent right now. Some women that I was talking to and getting to know and dating, like I shut that part of my flesh down and it hurt so bad. And I was like, man, I'm like, because I really had a connection with them, but I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna cross that line. Why? Because I knew like my journey was spiritually discerned. Like I knew that like how is God gonna bring me the woman of who he ordained for me to be with, and yet I'm over here laying with everybody else. Like this that it didn't make sense to me spiritually. You know what I'm saying? It didn't connect, it didn't bear witness. So I was like, you know what? How he gonna send me somebody and I'm jumping on the little booty calls? Like how it didn't make sense. So I was like, you know what? As hard as it was, like I went on a celibacy journey. I went on a celibacy journey and it hurt so bad. And let me tell you something. When I stepped into my celibacy journey, some things begin to activate. My eyes begin to open up because before, like when I engage with a woman, I date a woman, I'm looking at the physical part. And that's what I'm jumping into. And I realize I'm like, wow, I am moved by physical parts of a woman. Like I am moved by shape and hips. And I realize that, wow, I'm corrupted. I'm corrupted. I like the little Coke bottle shapes. You know what I'm saying? I like a dark skinned black woman that got that little shape on it. And I realized like that's what was hitting inside of me. That's what was activating my flesh. That's what was activating my flesh. My own desires. And so what I was looking for before was I was looking for a dark-skinned woman. You know what I'm saying? That you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be straight up. That had a big old booty. That's all I wanted. Because guess what? When I look at that booty, I feel proud. It looked good. But I realized something, right? When I went on that celibacy journey, when I say no, I wasn't gonna do it, and trust that hurt me to the core. Listen, I don't know if any dudes on here y'all watching, but for a man to say that he gonna be celibate, he ain't gonna lay with a woman, it's hard. But it's really not that hard. It's just that we've cultured ourselves so much to think certain things that we bewitched ourselves that we to the point where we can't even do the right thing. So it was hard at first mentally. And let me tell you something, when I did it, something activated. So when I became celibate, when I started engaging with women and talking to them, like it changed. Like I began to see the woman for who she was. I wasn't focused on the physical part of it. I wasn't focused on the body parts of that woman. I wasn't focusing on looking at the badunk move and shake when she walked by. I wasn't focused on that. And I'm telling you, when I start being celibate, it opened my eyes. And so now I'm getting to know your spirit. I'm getting to know your heart. I'm getting to know the deeper parts of you instead of bypassing that phase and going into the intimate part. I'm telling you, that's why we have so much problems today. And listen, I used to feel like it was religious. No, it's not religious. It's spiritual. When you have intercourse with somebody, that's spiritual. Like you opening up a spiritual door. And I guarantee you, you start becoming celibate. You shut down that part of you and start engaging with somebody and get to know them. Oh, it's going to expose some spirits. It's going to expose some demons, and it's going to expose some truth. And let me tell you something. The women I started meeting then, I started seeing them for who they were. And listen, I'm not sitting here bashing women. I'm not sitting here bashing nobody, but I'm just telling you, like, that's how I got spiritually woke. You know what I'm saying? About the opposite sex. And I realized something, you know what I'm saying? When I was on that celibacy journey, I was like, wow. Like, listen, some of the women I was fooling with. Like they want some straight up sex. They want this. They want that. But guess what? Because I was celibate, because my head was on a swivel and I was paying attention and focusing on the interaction, now I was in a spiritual place to make the right and informed decision. And listen, a lot of times I have to do it. Because listen, you start talking to somebody, you start feeling them, and you say, hey, we're gonna wait and we're gonna listen, we're gonna suppress our desires and get to know each other. Listen, let me tell you something. When like, you know what I'm saying, when you start engaging with somebody, you start liking them, spending time with them, and you shut that down with certain people. Some people can't. Listen, some people can't handle that. And man, Coach Doral, I'm glad you said it. You sexing with familiar spirits. And I realized something, man. I realized, like, in the past, that put me in some bad situations. In the past, like, you know, some booty calls turn into long-term relationships. I'm telling you some real stuff. Some booty calls turn into long-term relationships and ended up in headache because I was propelled by this part of me that like big old booty. Come on, black men. Come on, brother. Come on, brothers. Come on now. Let's talk for real. Cause why that part of me? Just listen. I just love a black woman with a big old booty. I loved it. Some real talk. But I realized that in me finding a woman that, listen, it's okay to have your little wish list, but you better focus on that heart. You better focus on that character. You gotta make sure that their goals align with yours. You gotta make sure that you're equally yoked spiritually, that you're equally yoked mentally, that you got the same mindset. Like dating, and my wife said this to me, dating is about collecting data. So I had to change my mindset. And that's what set me up. My celibacy journey. That's what set me up. My celibacy journey is what set me up to get in a position to receive my wife. Because I realized, like, when I got woke, when I got on that celibacy journey, and all of that stuff was cleared out of those bad files was deleted from me. Now oh man, it's creating umbilical cords. Ooh, boy, you in it. But you are in it. That's exactly what they are, brother. They are umbilical cords because they're attached to you and they're giving you spiritual feedback and nutrients that you're feeding off that eventually gonna choke you out. That eventually gonna put you in a bad place. That's gonna put you in a compromising situation. And we get mad and like, man, why I'm going through this? Because you made some decisions. And when you made those decisions, you did not do the work. You didn't listen. You did not make an informed decision. You did not make a conscious decision. You jumped into some stuff blindsidedly because you had some vulnerabilities. You were ill-informed. You wasn't woke. You wasn't paying attention. You were moved by your emotions. You were moved by the culture. You were moved by what everybody else was doing. Sometimes we do that. Sometimes we move out of place of culture. Listen, I do it. I'm a culture black man. Like, culture has played a big role on me. As much as I love the Bible and read the Bible, but you know what? Growing up, the Bible that I had was Tupac. The Bible that I had was Outkast. Like, my Bible was the culture. The culture fed me. And to this day, that culture is still a part of me, right? So you got to understand the power of proximity. The power when you get close to stuff, when you get close to people, when you get close to things, maybe association bring assimilation. And somebody said this, emotions made me cry sometime. And listen, Rashonda, it's okay to have emotion. You are human, but you can't live in those emotions. You got to manage those emotions. You got to understand where they come from. Listen, like sometimes, like when I first got married again, I used to get upset. Like I used to shut down. But I had to realize that those emotions were coming from my past relationship. Those emotions were coming from triggers and bad experiences that I had in the old relationship. So I was subconsciously bringing an old experience, just like the brother said, still got that umbilical cord attached to me. I was bringing an old experience into a new situation subconsciously. And listen, that's why you this stuff is spiritually discerned. You gotta dig deeper. You can't be on the surface. You gotta look deeper at yourself. There's alert of something we didn't give fully to the Lord. Yeah, man. And that's what happens, brother, when you don't give it to him fully. Like you gonna hold on to it, it's gonna rise back up, it's gonna come back up, and it's when it come back up, it's gonna bite you. It's gonna bite you, it's gonna haunt you, it's gonna put you in a bad spot. And I realized that I was bringing that old relationship, that old trauma into the new stuff. And that's what most folk do. You bring all the trauma from your old relationship, from your narcissistic, abusive partner that did not appreciate you. You bring all that old stuff into the new situation. And guess what? God called you to be a shifter and a changer. But you bringing all that old stuff into the new stuff. And that's why, listen, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to relationships, you need to get with somebody who's woke. You need to get with somebody that has been humbled through the process. Listen, ladies, find you a man that has been humbled through the process. Because listen, if you don't go through the process, you cannot get the impartation. And if you don't have the impartation, you are not authorized to release no oil. God has been dealing me with this. That's right, Hudson. He's dealing with us. And the thing is, we gotta pay attention. We gotta pay attention. Oh man, you gotta be willing to go through the valley, boy. You gotta go through the valley. Like, listen, you gotta go through some suffering sometimes. You gotta go through it. But again, don't live in it. Don't get stuck in it. What do I need to do to get out of this? What do I need to do to get better about this? What do I need to do to sharpen myself? What do I need to do to stop being so depressed? Like the answer and the power is within you. But let me tell you something, when you're so influenced by negativity, and man, that brother gave me a revelation on here, that dumb umbilical cords. Sometimes we are attached to stuff from old seasons. Sometimes we have the residue of stuff from old seasons and old experiences, and we don't even realize that they're haunting us, that they're pulling us down. And listen, that's why we got to be spiritually awoke. We got to be aware. Like, we got to spend time reading, not just the Bible, but read, like do research, dig deeper, dig into some deeper things. You know what I'm saying? Learn yourself, learn about yourself, spend time with yourself, spend time with God, know who you are, know who he has assigned you to be and what he has assigned you to do. Know these things. And once you begin to know them and recognize them and identify with them, then you can step deeper into your healing process. Then you can step deeper into your assignment. And let me tell you something, when you start walking in those veins, God gonna start opening some doors for you. He gonna start bringing some things into alignment for you. When you start stepping into that dimension of purpose, he is going to start bringing some things into alignment for you. And let me tell you something, man, that celibacy journey, I thought it was difficult, but I realized when I went on that celibacy journey, that guess what? It's not sometimes we make stuff hard because we base it off of the experience in the past and what we've seen and experienced with our own psychological schemata, with our own psychology. And God is like, no, I'm going to do a new thing. I just need you to step out on faith. I'm going to do a new thing. I need you to stop worrying about it. Let me tell you something. Like, I come from a long line of preachers. And I said to myself, I'm like, I don't want to be no preacher. I done seen too many people go in church, go play church, go act. But listen, but what does that have to do with what God called me to do? So I was taking a step back because I was like, I don't want to be like that preacher. I don't want to be like that person in my family who was in the church. So listen, I had to take a step back and be like, you know what? I got to do what God called me to do. Like, listen, even before I got married, I was struggling. I was like, man, I don't want to get hurt again. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you something. At one point, I was in a mindset of like, oh, women ain't about nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like you'll start picking these things up from the culture. You'll start picking things up from your friends. You'll start picking things up from your family. No, baby, you better focus on what God said. Cause listen, it is. Let me tell you. Let me give you a word. It's going to hit different once you touch the grounds because God has anointed you for that walk. Sometimes we are looking at people who we think are authorized, but are actually just narcissistic or demonic agents walking something out. But let me tell you something. When God calls you to step in those shoes, when he causes you to get down this path on your journey, some things are going to activate. And listen, this is why we got to understand that some things are spiritually discerned. Like that's why you got to trust God's process. That's what the word says. It says, listen, trust in God with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. Listen, thanks for the likes, thanks for the shares. Listen, we going to encourage some people. We going to lift some people up because, listen, it's that time. It's that season. Listen, I learned something. God is no respecter of person. He going to bless you. He going to cause you to receive what you're seeking for in this season. He's going to free you. He's going to help you. He's going to lift you up. But, baby, you got to stay in the fight. You got to stay in the process. Listen, we're not going to be like possums in this season. We are not going to faint. We are not going to fail. We are going to receive it. And let me tell you something. It sounds good, but let me tell you something. Come tomorrow morning, it's going to be a fight. Come tomorrow morning, the enemy is going to attack you. Those family members are going to come for you. That husband is going to come after you. That wife is going to throw that attitude at you. Those people at your job are going to look at you sideways to trigger you. But baby, let me tell you something. There's something on the other side. There's something waiting to activate. You can't give up. You can't walk away. You can't get tired. You can't get frustrated. You got to keep going. You got to keep stepping. Listen, you're going to reap it in due season if you faint not. We don't read that part about it. Listen, not in this season, it's not time for fainting. It's time to stand up and fight. It's time to claim your territory. It's time to claim your life. It's time to take your life back. It's time to close the doors on those things that are benefiting other people, but not benefiting you. It's time to close certain doors. And it's time to step in with a new perspective. With a new perspective. With a new perspective. So listen, I want you to be encouraged today. And I want you to know that, listen, that the door is going to open. Listen, you don't need no prophet. You don't need no preacher. Listen, when the Messiah was crucified, the veil in the temple was rent. So I don't need no high priest. I don't need no middleman. I don't need no psychic. I don't need no medium. I can approach the throne of grace boldly. Listen, it's not contingent on how much scripture I know. It's not contingent on all the theology I know. It's not contingent on the people I know. It's not contingent on my income level. It's not contingent on my intellectual level. But I can approach the throne. Why? Because God reigns on the just as well as the unjust. So listen, take the bull by the horn. Take this season, take this time, take this dimension to focus. Don't react to things. Don't let things take you off your game. Plan, plot, strategize. Now is the season to come up. Now is the season to get over it. Start moving different. Start doing the things that benefit you. Start doing the things that make you happy. Start focusing on you. Start sowing into your vision. Start sowing into your happiness. Listen, you don't need other people to be happy. Sometimes God is separating you because you are in a pruning season. He's cutting some stuff off. And sometimes it hurts so bad. Oh, why they don't like me? Oh, why they don't want to be my friend? Baby, because listen, God ain't called them to be your friend. God ain't called them to walk with you. They were just a season. They were like some leaves or some plants. They were a season in your life that looked good. They were a season in your life that was necessary, but they definitely were not roots. So sometimes we want to get nourishment from the leaves, but baby, you need nourishment from the root. And guess what? The root ain't people. The root is the most high that strengthens you. Listen, the root is the most high that empowers you, that gives you revelation, that gives you strength, that gives you grace, that gives you what you need. And listen, sometimes we don't get what we need because we're looking for stuff in the wrong places. Sometimes we're looking for love in the wrong places. Sometimes we're looking for love in the wrong. Sometimes we're looking for it in the wrong places. Sometimes it's right around us. It's very close to us, but we're pouting because, man, I'm all by myself. I ain't got no wife. I ain't got no husband. Let me tell you something. Your wife, your husband, who you need, your friendships, your connections, they are happening. They are happening. And you got to stay in the process. And let me tell you something. When you stay in that process, just like I told you, I hit that celibacy. Oh, it was hard, but let me tell you something. When I made that sacrifice, it was a domino effect. It opened up other doors. Let me tell you something. When you start making decisions to do the hard things, to align yourself and to get yourself in order, when you start doing the hard things, you will see results. Let me tell you something. Last year, this time, I made up in my mind that I was going to overcome high blood pressure. I was going to overcome diabetes. Let me tell you something. I was diabetic for years. And I can tell you back in 2018 or 19, I didn't even realize that. Matter of fact, I had lost like 30 pounds and my blood sugar was like five something. It's like five something. So I fought for years and I fought for years. But last year I said to myself around this time, I say, I'm coming off of that diabetic medication. Guess what? I prayed about it and God heard me. But now it's in my hands. So I started taking steps. And when I started taking steps, I noticed like my wife joined the party. My wife joined the party. We start cooking different. We start exercising more. So guess what? A couple of months ago, I checked my blood sugar. Blood sugar normal. Oh, I done beat diabetes. But guess what? I had to make that step. I had to take that step. And let me tell you something, it wasn't easy because last year around this time, I was 308 pounds, probably more than that. I was 308 pounds. So guess what? But I made up in my mind that I don't want to be in this condition no more. God didn't call me to keep taking medication all the time. God didn't call me to keep having to prick my finger to check my blood sugar. But guess what? It was a situation that I was in. It was a condition that I had. But guess what? I didn't sit down and just keep praying about it. I got up. I started doing things to improve my health. I started doing things to improve my life. I had to get up by faith and start taking action. And let me tell you something what was discouraging. When I first learned I had diabetes, I lost weight then, but I still had high blood sugar. Guess what? Sometimes, beloved, it ain't going to work how you want it to work. Sometimes it ain't going to activate in that minute. It may not activate in that hour. It may not activate in that week. It may not activate in that month. It may not activate in that year, but you got to keep moving. So here I am a whole year later, 80 pounds down. And let me tell you something, my journey ain't over. My journey is not over. Not only did I come down 80 pounds, but my whole body composition has changed. Why? Because I did the hard thing. Me and my wife did the hard thing. But let me tell you something, I couldn't do it by myself. When I started making those moves, my wife started following suit. Let me tell you something. When you start posturing yourself to do the right thing, when you start posturing yourself, like God is going to cause what you need to come to you. He's going to cause a shift to come to you. You got to posture yourself. Sometimes we want it just to happen. No, that's what faith is about. Faith is a substance. It's the substance of things. So you got to have that substance. That substance causes you to activate. and move. Blessings, Red. Blessings, Red. But yeah, man, that's that substance inside of you. It causes you to activate and move. You know what I'm saying? It causes you to get out your comfort zone. It causes you to get hungry. It causes you to start stepping a little different. It causes you to start digging a little bit deeper and going a little bit further and wanting it and knowing that God gonna give it to you. But guess what? He ain't gonna give it to you the way you want it. He ain't gonna give it to you when you want it. Does that mean he's not going to give it to you? No. It means that you gotta walk this thing out. It means you gotta stay on the path. It means you have to stay the course. And baby, let me tell you something. It ain't gonna be easy. Some days you're gonna want to give up. Listen, man, when I was on that celibacy journey, some days, boy, I wanted to give up, boy. I would pick up the phone for that booty call. But I was like, man, I feel like if I do this, I'm gonna start back over. So guess what? I committed to the process. And let me tell you something, it was hard at first. But once you start doing it, once you start getting into it, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. It's gonna happen. Oh man, it is not easy. But let me tell you something, most of it is mental. Most of it is mental. Why? Because you are designed to go higher. You are designed to do more. I feel like the world around us has been so bewitched that it puts limitations on our creativity. It puts limitations on what we can do. And so we automatically limit and filter ourselves subconsciously. Why? Because the world says, oh, you got to have 5 degrees to get this amount of money. No, baby. You got to have vision. You got to have vision. You got to have faith. You got to have drive. Those are things that you need. That's just some real talk. But again, man, that's my nuggets for today. You know, again, I'm here on TikTok, Ferg Knowledge 416. YouTube, Line Roy Ferguson. So follow me. Thank you for all the likes, all the gifts on TikTok. You know, I'm a little bit tired and you know what I'm saying? Like I've been on here about an hour, so I'm going to tap out. It was so good talking to everyone. Thank you all. You know what I'm saying? Follow me. I follow back. You know what I'm saying? I support other channels. I support other creators. You know what I'm saying? But listen, we ain't out here to just get a following. But listen, we out here to throw out this game because guess what? A lot of times on social media, people throw things out that I grab that bless me. So listen, I want to throw my journey out there. And my prayer is that it bless somebody, that it helps somebody. So again, you know what I'm saying? Like and subscribe on TikTok and on YouTube. And listen, you catch me again back here. I usually come on Sunday mornings, but listen, this Sunday morning I was tired. I had cut the grass. I did a lot of stuff. I was doing too much. I was doing too much. And like I said, I hadn't lost 80 pounds. So sometimes I feel like with some of that weight gone, I could do a little more. But I did too much and I crashed out. But you know what I'm saying? It felt good, but it hurt because I'm tired. But again, beloved, it was so good being on here. Catch me again next week. I'm going to try to come on through the week. I keep on saying that. But you know what? I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to commit to coming on here and going live. Why? Because I'm beginning to like social media. Before, I never liked social media. I never liked getting in front of cameras. But I realized something like, you know what? This is a good platform. This is a good space to meet positive people, to interact with positive people. So my mind is changing because I can be a little bit old-fashioned sometimes. But again, you all be blessed. We're going to catch you next week. Same time, same channel for sure. You be blessed.